Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Raider Across New York. In this particular scene, though, with the opposition of his uncle, his den father, bites the weak, Havaka has been able to get permission to go for his rite of passage. The process was, if not heated, though short. In the end, Bites the Weak and Habaga have came to an understanding despite their constant arguing. They both know that despite his lack of, let's just say, a lack of respect for authority, he is skilled, and despite that lack, he does still have enough that he won't shouldn't be too much of a problem being truly part of the nation, and he has received his blessing. Though he is unaware of the Yaktina around, he is aware that the youngest brother, the Wendigo, reside within the city of New York and has asked for directions to hopefully find an Yaktina ship nearby. He's been told by younger brother that there is a ship deep within Florida and that there is a moon bridge within New York that can connect to that. They have sent their greatest kinfolk of their number, a Poot, to guide him there.
So yeah, you will begin, and you will essentially drive down. It will take a few days. Aput will kind of like look after you. You get to know him reasonably well. He's middle aged. He seems to be. He describes the truth catcher as auntie, even though you get the feeling that you're not 100% sure that that's their exact. You think it's more of a term of kind of respect than it is an accurate describer of their relationship.
Similar to me and the Den Father when they call
Exactly.
him.
Yeah. Exactly. He's Canadian. You think he will. You will gradually learn that he is from Nunavut in the north. He's First Nations, and yeah, he will studiously not talk to you about anything specifically Garu-ish. Like he seems to be very content to to not know what business you have down in Florida.
Yeah, that's fine.
And he's fairly cordial with you. He will, on the way down, he will buy you, take you to some meals and buy you some beer, and yeah, seems to be having a really good time. He makes some stop offs to see various, to visit various Native American reservations on the way down. He seems to at least know of or know people in lots of them, and that's where the places you will stay in the
Alright.
various nations and stuff on the way down on the East Coast. And eventually you will arrive in Florida, and you will come to a very, very, very small, um, kind of like a very small town on the edge of the Everglades, on the edge of the giant swamp. And Aput will essentially pull up, and you will wait in a particular restaurant or kind of like bar. It's more like a kind of diner for around half a day, and then a group of Native American men, or rather, two of them are Native American and one of them looks African American, will come in, but all of them are wearing kind of like modern clothes, but with some Native American kind of signifiers that you will not recognize because you're Cherokee, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you don't recognize these particularly because they're not Cherokee. And yeah, they will come up to you and they will say in the African American man has, or the black man, you don't know if he's American, will say actually in French that will say something to one of the others, and then one of the others will say, "He's the one," and Aput will say, "He is. We will take him from here." and they will take you from there.
I will take notice, particular of the black man speaking French, though. Trying to remember his history, he has remembered that certain relationships between the Pure Landers and the Frenchmen of the Wormbringers.
Once you are out, you will get in a pickup truck and they will drive. All three men look like real stern and they're not really speaking to you very much. But two will sit up front and one of them will sit in the back of the pickup truck with you. So what do we call you?
Havika will suffice.
Will suffice. Fancy words. You learn that in Europe, Shadow Lord.
That I am a child of the Horned Serpent. He teaches us many things. Most Shadowlords honestly aren't that dignified, to be honest.
We hear your father's Shadow Lord, Wimbringer.
Yeah. Yes, he was.
You have that blood in you too.
Unfortunately, their blood is all over the place.
You are good, we are not little, brother. Lieutenant are more accepting than the Wendigo.
The Wendigo are stuck in ways that helps and just detracts from them. We both know that.
Do not speak ill of one of the pure tribes. You're a cub. You don't know what you're talking about. The Wendigo have their ways, and they are warriors of Gaia, unlike you yet. Do not speak ill of them.
Yes, right.
You don't get seasick, do you?
I was raised on islands.
Good. And the truck will pull up to kind of a jetty sticking out into a bayou. And there are two canoes there, which you will get into. You'll be handed a paddle. You're smart enough to row, right? You don't look too weak.
I'd rather swim, but this will work.
Swimming's too slow.
That it is.
And yeah, you will begin paddling through the bayous. It is mid-afternoon when you set off, and you are going for many, many hours. I can find the picture I just downloaded.
He'll kind of bring up the fact that he wasn't aware that there would be too many tuna down here, though. He thinks about it because he's heard stories of the eldest of us all, the Mowgli, residing in these areas. So
The what, sorry?
I believe it's the Mowgli, the were crocodiles and things of that nature.
Oh, the Macaulay.
Macaulay, sorry.
No. Yeah, he'll say there may be some, but they keep to themselves and we keep to ourselves.
He nods to that.
In the continent to the south, the Amazon, there's a lot of Macaulay there. You tend to have a good relationship with them, fighting against the Fenrir and the forces of the worm.
He nods. I was told they were the few other ones that truly respected the land, the ones that we can even consider in some cases like us, pure, unlike the wormcomers.
You don't think they're pure? Haven't you been up in the big city boy?
Only for a set amount of months. I'm used to being on islands or middle of nowhere. I know about the city people because I was taught to know about the city people.
But you don't like them. That's good.
They
as long
are
as you don't
ignorant.
show them that.
The city people are ignorant, and it'd be unwise not to teach them something.
Part of being an Uktena is keeping secrets. You know that, right?
Part of Utina is gathering knowledge and keeping what's important to us and safe for others.
Don't correct me. Answer my questions. Part of the Uktena is keeping secrets. You know that, right?
Yes, of course.
Good. The others are afraid of what they don't understand. So we try to understand things so we're not afraid. We're not afraid of the dark. But we do not have the strength to earn our rightful place and take our lands back yet. The Wendigo don't either. But they try anyway.
Havaga will take notice. This one is more or less compared to the on the islands is a bit more, I guess, zealous about his parentage. He's more taught to go with the flow of certain things, though they did not also instill the fact that losing any sense of tradition. So he's putting that in consideration as he's talking to this man.
Mm-hmm. As you go, he will tell you what to expect on the sept. You'll be told not to speak English.
I would ask him, well, what should I speak then?
He asks you what else you speak.
I speak the native tongue of the islands and the native tongue of my people, the Cherokee.
Cherokee will do. But you can stick to the Garu tongue. There's no kinfolk here.
And he nods at that, and he looks a little surprised that there's no kinfolk here.
Well, we're going to a settlement. There are kinfolk there, but not when we go to the heart of the sept. It's not a place for kinfolk.
He nods.
And you are challenging to join us, right?
Of course. The Shadow Lords have not given me a reason to join their number. They continue to prove that their lack of, I guess it's the best way to put it. Well, sorry, I'm losing track of the word. Their lack of caution and regard for others has shown me that they're only good for being a useful tool.
Shadow Lords are untrustworthy, and because of this, they do not trust anybody else either. Or they know what they would do in every situation, which is lie, cheat, and betray, so they expect it of others. As I said, we keep secrets in the Uktena, but we do not lie. There is a difference.
And when he says that, his face is very much confirming of that.
And yeah, you will arrive at a essentially what looks like a Native American kind of it wouldn't even resemble like the various nations that you've visited, or maybe even I don't know how traditional your home was, but this is like there doesn't appear to be like very much modern tech at all. There are some like the boats have motors, and you see that the kinfolk are clearly armed, but there are not any. There doesn't appear to be like it's very high tech. There are also no white people, but you see ethnically what you could assume are kind of South Americans. You see Native Americans. You see black people. You see. Yeah, more or less, you just don't see any white people, but you see kind of the varied multicultural mix of North America outside of that. And yeah, you basically are going through, and people are just looking at you. You feel a little intimidated. People are kind of like leaning. Oh, sorry, all the houses are actually coming out of the swamp on stilts. And yeah, people are kind of leaning over, looking at you. Some of them have shotguns. You're not getting a very like particularly nice look. No one does anything outright. And yeah, you will stop off here. You'll be told to wait in the boat. They're just getting somebody.
Okay.
And you will go inside. They will go inside, and out of one of the buildings will step. 1 second. A figure that looks like this. A large 7-foot Krynos wearing North American traditional garb.
When he arrives, Havika will make sure to show his throat.
He will say in Garu, "You haven't completely lost your sense of the order of things from your time among the Wormbringers." "We know of your family, young Havika, and I will admit, we are glad that you have come back to us at last."
He simply bows his head.
"We hear you wish to challenge to join the tribe of the Horned Serpent."
Yes.
"Good. Come with me."
Then I'll follow him.
And yeah, you will walk along the kind of some of the raised platforms around the houses, and you will see that they are connected to a kind of like small island. The island is coming out of the swamp. To enter here, you cannot be wearing those. And he gestures to your like Western clothes.
And he looks at that.
You can take the Krynos form.
And when he brings that up, he kind of hesitates for a moment. But he will take off the clothes for sure. Outside of even the picture, there is a bronze necklace that he's wearing, but he does not take that off.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, anything that's not essentially like modern and Western is fine.
So on his arms, the tattoos are there, but you'll see very distinct symbols. And they are one symbol on his arm is the Tina symbol, one is the Shadow Lord symbol. But the thing is, they don't look like ink tattoos. They almost look like a weird birthmark.
The tattoos will get a raised eyebrow. You can suspect it's because of the Shadow Lord symbol, but nothing is said. It is a symbol. They're a tribe of Gaia. It's perfectly fine. And yeah, you will walk onto the island. There is a thick mist around this island. Aside from that, there is some kind of like mist in the swamp, but nothing like on this island. You very much get the feeling, without even rolling any kind of primal urge, that this is some kind of supernatural effect. And you walk to the center of the cairn. The center of the cairn is a pool, a deep pool in the rock. It's essentially, you've walked up a kind of like rocky outcrop, and there's almost like a plunge pool that you could dive into. And as you get to the edge of the plunge pool, the water is maybe 20 feet below you. And the Garu, who has not given you her name, will kneel down in front of it and prostrate herself. And she looks at you. "Do as I do."
And he will mimic her.
"O great and mighty Uktena, I am Tashahana, son-daughter of your tribe, Adrian Philodox. I have brought this one before you because he wishes to join the tribe. He wishes to join the pure tribe. He wishes to join Big Brother, the tribe of secrets, the tribe that sees in the darkness. Just as wounded as younger brother, but better at hiding it. And she looks around at you and gestures. Tell the great Uktena why you wish to join the tribe.
He will look within the pool, and
You see within the pool there is a dark shape moving, but the water surface is not broken.
I have heard the lies of the worm bringers. A serpent with fury and hate with no equal. A being that they say if they look upon you that they would die from your sheer vicious and ferocity. But they don't know what you really are. You're a spirit of respect, a spirit of knowledge, a spirit of the purest connection to this world that the worm comers or the worm bringers will never know. And that is their greatest weakness, as they choose not to respect you, great Akuna. But I am not like them despite my heritage. I know better. I know, despite what they see of you, that you are greater than them in ways that they will never understand. You're lither than unicorn, more vicious and more cunning than Great Father Thunder. And I choose to be in your service, not only in for respect for you, Great Actuna, but respect for Gaia, and make sure that the evils in this world are properly tended to, and that we can teach the other Garu, that there is more to this world than brute violence amongst the worm. There's more to understanding than simple tactics to destroy it. The worm, despite its corruption, can be used for the greater good of us. And the worm is still our great grandfather serpent. It was once one of ours. And
As you say this, the water begins to broil and froth. And a spirit manifests. You assume you're in the physical realm, but a spirit, or what you can assume is a spirit, appears, comes out of the water, coiling up on its huge serpentine body, its antlers and wings, and it looks down at you. And you do not sense fear from it. It doesn't look ferocious or evil as a giant horned snake may, but you get a deep sense of wisdom. And it will speak in a language that you do not understand. In fact, it doesn't sound like a language. You would recognize it as some kind of spirit communication. And Sun Daughter will turn to you and say, this avatar of great Uktena says that we are the tribe of secrets. But you must not have the secrets from yourself or from your heart. Tell the great Uktena a secret of yourself so that we may know you better, Havaka.
he looks upon her in a mild confusion as he tries to think upon a piece of knowledge that would be, I guess, significant enough to a sacrifice for it, Tuna. And he will take a moment to meditate on this.
Out of character, would you like some pointers?
I wouldn't mind it. It's kind of one of those things where it's like I'm
No,
trying
that,
to think
for sure. So you could either think of something. You could just make something up that is an RPG character. You've not documented his whole life, but something that's happened to him. You do know that another option would be potentially. You perhaps think that telling them about your incident with the Banebinder and what happened to you there, although you've told this secret to a few other people, you could tell this here if you would like to, and that may suffice.
Um, let's-
Or you could simply make up something from your childhood, from your backstory, something that was never known about you or something.
you look upon Uktena and say, I had, and he sounds a little hurt, kind of bringing it up, but he says, I had a true mate, a true love that was attacked by my kin. And no, my brother. They
Your
and
brother's name?
and he his face turns sour as he thinks upon his brother's name, and he says, Column. Column Grant.
He is kin or
He
Garu.
is he's Garu. He is my blood brother. We share the same father.
He nods. And mighty Uktena again speaks. Sun Daughter turns to you and says, Mighty Uktena senses a darkness within you, Havaka, a desire for vengeance and revenge
And
against this one, your brother.
and he says in a harsh tone, it is owed to me. His eye was not good enough.
Although we do not allow the worm comers into these sacred places, and we do not trust them if necessary, we must work with those that have wounded us, Havaka. This is the way of the Uktena. We keep how we feel, and we keep the hate and the anger for the injustices done to us. We keep them secret. We do not let them impact the war against the worm.
And he'll just state, but they took so many. I have destroyed so many of Gaia's children on their own. They might as well be working for them. And they would not give us the same courtesy.
Do you know the Uktena are not free of guilt? You must know, if you were brought up among our tribe, there was once a middle brother.
The Croton.
Yes. Who asked for our help to defeat a great spirit, and we refused it to them. And because of that, because we had conflict with middle brother, some reason long lost in the past, and we refused them the help they desired. And because of that, they perished. Before the Wormcomers came, this continent was not as pure as some of us would like to say. There was corruption here. There was war. And to an extent, we had become complacent. You must forgive your brother, as we must try to forgive the Wormcomers. That is your only task, to join us. Banish the darkness from within you. For although we walk in the darkness and we look in the darkness, we do not take the darkness into us. We do not make it part of us. For then we will be lost.
when he hears that, internally he is twisting in knots, and there's an aspect that he's always kind of in the same I guess vein of it all of that statement because there's a part of him that would, as he stated before, like a shadow lord wouldn't be this forgiving, they just wouldn't talk about it and do it later. His mind is going to that exact answer, like just lie to them and just try to do it later. But he also knows this is a holy place, and to lie would be extremely disrespectful and not the way of the Tina. He doesn't want to forgive his brother because he hasn't given a real reason to. So he will state to everyone, I can only try.
This is your task. As if you wish to draw an elder brother, you have to show wisdom. He does not have to be your friend, but you have to show him that you are wiser than him, that you are not as petty as him. Understood, Havika?
He bites his bottom lip and he draws blood. he is. He's not happy about this, and this will take time.
We will provide you a moon bridge. There and back, if you would like.
And he'll say, and it's almost in a pathetic whine, can I not get some retribution? I've been, and he even says, we've been mistreated and forgotten for so long. Can I not at least get something?
What happens if you get retribution? What happens if in the parallel our tribe seeks retribution against the Fianna, the Fenrir, and the Shadow Lords? What happens then? What is the result of this?
All out war.
Yes? And who will truly win if the tribes of Gaia fight one another like we once did?
And he nods, remembering the tales of the war of rage.
You do not have to trust the Wormcomers. You do not have to forget who you are. You do not have to lay down as they commit crimes against us, take our land, and befoul our territories. But you cannot hold a grudge. You must forgive. This is the way of Gaia. The wolf does not hold a grudge. And neither was me. We, for the good of Gaia. When you are fought and when you have fallen in her service, or maybe you will be lucky and die of old age. That is when you will get your reward in the ancestral homeland.
And he nods to that. How will I know? How how would you how would we know that I am ready for this?
We do not know you are. That is why it is a test.
I haven't spoken to him in quite some time.
If you do not wish to do the challenge, then I'm sure another tribe will accept you.
He will state, I never stopped looking for her. My mate Jaina went missing after the incident. They stopped after 2 weeks, and I still continue to search. Are you telling me not only to forgive my brother, but to stop looking for her?
We did not say that.
And when he puts that into context, there is more resolution in his body language. Because he definitely to himself, he feels that she is more important than his hate for his brother. And as long as that aspect is not being denied of him, he's feeling a bit more confident.
What would mean more to you, Havaka? And I do not want you to answer this. I want you to think on it as you go about your challenge. Your revenge against him, or knowing that she is safe.
He simply nods. When can this bridge be? When can I arrive on the bridge?
You can go now. Out of character, you were in Eastern Europe, right? In like Romania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in the Slavic territories as.
Okay, yeah. Then jump. And all this is being said to you by son daughter. And Uktena will go back down into the water, and you hear a thrashing, and you see that the great serpent is swimming around and around and around the pool, and a whirlpool is appearing. She says, "Jump in. The waters are our friend."
Yeah. When she says to jump, he doesn't hesitate and will dive in from. And there's definitely years of practice in this movement.
And yeah, you fall into the water. The first thing is your nose and mouth fill with the water. Your body is buffeted. You hear nothing but the thunder. But you sink through it, and you come out. You essentially like you feel yourself going down, almost like as if you're like some fun fair and you're going down a kind of water slide. And you come out in a pool. There is a big. No, in fact, you go underwater, and you're trapped underwater, but you see above you a light. You could swim towards.
He will.
You swim up towards the light. Even though you've been underwater for probably a few minutes at this point, you never really felt that you were desperate to take a breath. And you come out into a shallow cave. There is a pool in the cave. And you come out into it. And as you break the surface of the water, taking a deep breath, somebody jumps back, and you hear a sound of a shocked alarm in Romanian.
He looks around. He's familiar in the sound of the tongue, but he never took the time to learn it out of spite at the time.
So, you do recognize the place you are, however. The old sept you were in was high atop the mountains in the Carpathian range, attached to a small Romanian village that was basically run by the Garu. And yeah, you see one of the kind of like old ladies that used to kind of bustle about the village stand back in shock as you exit, and she looks a bit guarded, but not completely terrified. Like she kind of, it's a weird thing to see, but sometimes she expects weird things to happen. And you hear her shout in what you recognize as Romanian.
I will go past the threshold of the water. I will take notice that I am naked, but it's like, yeah, it's not that important.
You hear shouts, and you hear mixed in among the language you don't understand the word Havaka. And some people run in and see you. Some people that you vaguely recognize the faces of as just being kinfolk from the sept that your father's sept.
He'll look around and he will say in English, "Where's my father?"
There's a kind of talk among them, and a younger woman steps forward and says, "Your father not here. He is out fighting leeches."
And he will nod in understanding of that. He recalls tales of the leeches and some of the fights that he's had.
We bring you cloth,
Thank you.
and we take you to Sept Elder.
And he looks a little bit surprised.
But you stay here, okay?
He simply nods.
A few minutes later, you'll be bought kind of like basic clothes to dress in. And a large man with a big beard will kind of like push through the crowd. And he will say to you in Garu, "Avaka, you have come back. Why? We did not know. Your father did not tell us. You were expecting you."
And he will say, "I am here for closure and understanding with my family here. It will, my meeting should be brief. If you allow me upon the sept again."
I must cleanse you. You understand? No insult.
No, of course.
And he will begin a brief rite of cleansing. You remember that this guy is a Fostern Arun called Thunderbolt. He's done. Come.
He will follow.
So, you've been in the big city. You miss the fresh air, though, no?
Of course I do. The city is filled with smoke that comes from nothing or something. I don't know.
While walking through this Shadow Lord Sept, you're essentially walking through a small village high up in the mountains. Some of the buildings look relatively new, but some of them look ancient, carved out of stone, and yeah, and you are taken towards what you remember being kind of the heart of the Sept, which is slightly further up the mountain across along a small path, and it is essentially a ruined castle. As you walk through the village, though, almost a feeling of deja vu kind of like creeps over you as you feel a similar sensation as you are walking through the Uktena village.
He will put a hand to one of his strands of hair and begins kind of fiddling with it for a moment to kind of express this sensation in some way.
It passes. First thing you notice walking up the path that you took a few times, but being a very kind of like young cub even before your first change while you were here, um, you weren't taken to the heart of the cairn very often. But the view is something else. From the Carpathian Mountains, you can see across the plains of Central Europe. You feel if it was not for the fog, you could see like all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. It's just stunning. And it takes your breath away slightly. And you realize that the Pure Lands are one thing, and while you were here, you hated this place because of what it represented, but it's still Gaia's Earth. And you are taken to this tumble down castle. The arch, however, to the entrance of it is still intact. And yeah, you are taken to the Sept Alpha, who is a very elderly woman, Eastern European. You know that she's a theurge. And she appears to be in some kind of like meeting. And Thunderbolt comes in and says a few words. And she looks up and waves away the people in the meeting. And what's your father's name?
Oh, look at my sheet again real quick. Tobias.
She will say, Havika, son of Tobias. You've come back to us. Why? To aid in the war?
Eventually. I'm here to speak to my family.
Your father is not here.
No, I was told he's fighting leeches.
He is. They have been mobilizing recently.
He'll take notice of that.
Aside from that, you have no other family here, Havika. But you're welcome to stay.
They'll raise an eyebrow at that. Where's Colum? Where's his mother?
There is a look exchange between Thunderbolt and the Alpha. Colum has been exiled from this place.
And that he looks extremely surprised at. Because his mother is well respected here. So he's surprised that they're even able to do that.
You look surprised. Why?
There's a reason why he wasn't apparently, and he stops himself as he feels himself about to go on a tirade. His mother was well respected here, and he was well liked.
Was. Reputation only gets you so far. The reason you took his eye apparently was not an isolated incident.
And when he hears that, there is a twinge in his body of anger, even further.
He has been exiled. He's no longer of the tribe. He's been declared Ronin, but he is not far away.
You've been watching him.
Of course. I think he wishes to get back in our good of graces, but she shrugs. That is not our problem. If you wish to see him, I can tell you where to go.
Yes, I do.
Thunderbolt, take him. Do not approach the Ronin, though.
And
She says that to Thunderbolt, not to you, sorry.
okay.
You are welcome to stay here as long as you like, Havika. Wait for your father to return if you would like.
He thinks upon that for a moment.
I must ask, though, have you achieved rank yet? I do not smell it on you.
I have been giving my rite of passage. I'm in the process of completing it.
To your tribe. Tribe
And,
of the Great Serpent.
and again, he looks a little surprised that she's choosing to respect that. And he will say yes.
What she says to you next slightly takes you aback. Good. Uktena is wise indeed. Grandfather Thunder respects him greatly.
You don't wish one of the sons of the great Tobias Grant to be taken away from you. I always assumed that.
You still serve Gaia, do you not?
He goes, that I do.
Then she shrugs. We are dealing with the clan of Simiskis. I have little time for petty politics.
And again, he looks at it surprised. His father names runs relatively strong amongst this particular sept and this Shadow Lords in general. Though he does not show their vestige, they have seen the ancestors hover around him quite a bit.
For her part, she seems, in a way, to Haviga, that her kind of like friendliness from this comes maybe from ignorance of the pain that the Uktena were subjected to at the hands of the Shadow Lords. I mean, the Uktena and the Shadow Lords specifically have come to real conflict, but it's almost like she doesn't really know that exists, which maybe makes him angry.
It makes him mildly irritated because it's just the ignorance of people in general about just history and other people outside of their own. Because he's also heard stories that the Shadow Lords specifically have actually eliminated a particular tribe of Gaia. You've heard rumors about it somewhere west and south from here.
Well, she doesn't seem to have any kind of like bitterness about this. But yeah, you very much get the sense it's because maybe the Shadow Lords over here don't really know much about it. Maybe it's just simply not a priority for them. But yeah. But Thunderbolt will lead you away and lead you kind of like out of the sept. You should be careful when approaching your brother. He is an angry one.
He stops himself from giving basically a catty look, like, "Oh, I would have never known that."
When he sees you kind of give that, he shrugs and says, "But you know this. Why you wish to speak to him?"
See whether or not I don't try to kill him twice.
He's still Garu. You should not kill him.
And he'll just simply state, "This has happened more than once."
Yes, there's something rotten in his soul. I don't know.
And if he was worth that much saving, why did we exile him?
Bad policy to kill soldiers. Maybe one day he will give you opportunity to redeem himself by fighting leeches. If he does good, maybe he can rejoin tribe. If not, then he can have died instead of another Garu. Like Metis. No point killing them.
But Mattis didn't choose to be who they were. He did.
Yeah. He shrugs again. Who knows about choosing? We are all born under a certain moon that chooses what we are. There is no choosing for Garu.
All of us have choices to make, and we all must understand the consequences of those choices. Whether or not we choose to do something drastic. And he kind of stops and kind of looks out to the side as as they continue moving, trying to figure out words. The fact that this was a multiple incidents puts a great fire in his heart. The fact that they just exiled him, it's like it's not good enough. The quest stops him from like joining the humans and trying to make money being a mercenary or something else, or maybe telling secrets to the leeches. He is he's thinking just more or less, I was exiled even though I was truly wronged, and it took multiple instances of him wronging others to him getting exiled. It also doesn't change the fact that his mother didn't go with him either. His hate for her is nowhere near as strong as his brother, but he does not care that she continues to protect him. And he assumes that, again, she protected him with only him getting exiled.
This would be a reasonable assumption. But you were taken along a kind of valley path, and you were taken to. You walk for maybe. I mean, in fact, you will probably end up. He will say we should move in Lupus because it will be quicker and easier. And yeah, you kind of go along the ridge of the mountains and into one of the kind of deep, dark valleys. And yeah, he just says, "I go no further. I wait here for you. If you have problem, howl. I come. But I don't think he kill you. He knows it would go bad for him."
Eventually, he'll have to start learning, right?
He will or he won't. Not my problem. His problem.
And he nods to that, and in a very strong confirmation. And he'll begin moving through the forest and lupus. Though, though he has not been here in quite some time, he feels he remembers the many paths of moving throughout the forest of this area.
Mm-hmm. You travel, basically through the forest. And as you travel, you see there are various kind of like skeletons here of rabbits, birds. Uh, yeah, rabbits, birds, just an absolutely like shitty, like horrible place. You see that various trees appear to have just been straight up ripped to pieces. You would recognize the strength, power, and claw marks of the Krynos form.
When I see that there's so many corpses, his mind goes, he's wasting food.
You would also know that, yeah, maybe there's things like rats and birds there. And eventually you come to a kind of open clearing, and the smell is bad.
Like natural rot or something else.
No, like you see smashed glass that you would know as alcohol bottles. You see that there's been a latrine pit dug, but it's not been like looked after, and it stinks. And the like this small house, like corrugated iron roof, one room, just looks just like an awful, depressing, nasty place to live. But there doesn't appear to be, or rather, you don't see anyone outside it.
Seeing the refuse of his condition, his satisfaction is not necessarily peaked as he wanted it to be. His anger is still there, but it is cooled by more or less the validation of, I guess, how pathetic he was. Despite before, like he always knew he was an asshole, he was a bastard, but he was good at what he did. Now, this looks like he wasn't prepared for this at all.
As you stand there, the door flies open, and you see your brother. He is unshaven, his hair is long and unkempt. He is wearing jogging bottoms and a white vest that's clearly got some kind of food stains on it. And he comes out. Who the fuck are you?
Mm.
And he's also carrying a shotgun that he's pointing at you.
So, fallen so low that you can't remember your own family.
Havaka, what the fuck are you doing here? He appears to be a bit drunk.
I wanted to say hi.
Come to gloat, I guess.
A little bit.
Well, here I am.
Yeah.
Hope you're happy.
And he'll say, and said in a cool tone, I do gain some satisfaction from this.
Oh, I bet you do. Always had to be better than me, didn't you?
I believe you always thought you were.
Hardly. Daddy's little favourite, weren't you? The exotic one. The one that's seen the world.
And he goes, I was like, I may have been Dad's favorite, but I believe you were always the mama's boy.
I had it all, you know. My father was training me. The girls in the village liked me. Everything was set, and then you turn up. You take it all.
He scoffs at that. Last time I checked, the village didn't much care for me. And said, well, as far as they considered, I am the unnecessary official bastard child. Said, a gift from the Iktina for making sure that they survived amongst the on the island. You were always there. So the great son of Grant, looking above me, thinking that I shouldn't be there, even though I wasn't chosen. I didn't choose to be there.
Remember it however you like. It's not the way I see it. It's not the way I saw it when we were kids. You were always the one he took out hunting. Always the one he fed food to first. Anyway, what the hell are you here? He's not lowered the shotgun from pointing it at you. You get the sense that this is like a pathetic man.
I came here to talk to you. I came here to check on you and check on Father. Father's doing his job for Gaia. You are rotting in a forest.
I don't want to talk to you, Havaka.
Like, no, you weren't never much for talking. You were more much for beating and taking.
It's the Garu way. That's how we were taught. That's what we're supposed to do. You never got that.
And he looks at him, and his eyes kind of sharpen in response. You know better than that, and you know Father taught us better than that. We take and we beat what is necessary. You always took too much.
Why have you come here? What are you doing? Leave me alone.
Why should I?
Do you know I've been kicked out? I'm not
Obvious,
allowed back in the village.
it's rather obvious you're rotting in a forest, but you earned your right to be here. Like you couldn't control yourself. And apparently it's not only it's like not even did you couldn't control yourself with your own brothers, mate. You did it with others. They should have taken out your throat. I only took your eye.
Is that what you've come here for? Revenge? And he'll walk towards you with the shotgun. He'll get like a few steps away. And he'll chuck the shotgun to you. Go on then.
And he looks at him and he says, "You lost your way of being a Shadow Lord. You wouldn't have gotten rid of the gun if you knew that. We use every option, and you know it."
What are you talking about?
I said, and he will state to him, "A real Shadow Lord would accept the challenge and kept the gun. Why make yourself any weaker for your opponent? Father taught us that. That's why."
Opponent? I'm telling you. And he'll grab the end of the gun while it's like in your hands and he'll put it up to his chest while you're holding it. Do it. I've not got anything else to live for, have I?
And he looks at him almost disgustedly, and more or less, he'll just kind of turn the butt of the gun and smack it into his knee. And he'll state to him, "I was like, you go around taking what you want, and you think you can take the easy out of just being executed? You are giving us a bad name."
I'm not giving anyone a bad name. I'm not
"Yes, you
part of
are.
anything anymore.
You're still the son of our father, and you've done nothing to try to redeem yourself."
I don't want judgment from you.
"That is my role, is to give judgment."
Well, go on then. You said they should have taken my throat. And he'll pick up the shotgun again and he'll hold it, pointing against his own chest with the trigger towards you. All you gotta do is pull the trigger. I don't think there'll be any consequences. No one will care. Do the judgment you think I should have had.
Again, he takes it and smacks it across his knee.
Across across
Like,
Callum's knee.
yeah, more or less to bring him to the ground.
Alright, yeah, he'll drop. He seems very unsteady on his feet. Oh, too cowardly for even this Habakkuk. Little goody two shoes.
I was told by others that you'd be a waste to kill you, and it'd be correct.
Ways to let me live.
There's more usefulness out of you living than dying. You know what? You don't. And he throws the shotgun aside. It's bad enough that you're not willing to take your punishment like a proper Garu, like a proper man. You soul yourself in defecation and refuge for nothing. You think it's other people's fault for your actions, and you're supposed to be an Arun. You're supposed to take better responsibility of yourself, and yet again you failed.
Fuck you. Leave me alone. I don't want to see you again.
And he says, "There won't be again for you, Colin. You failed, and you're not willing to do better. And as a Shadow Lord, as a Garu, as a Noctina, there's no reason to waste our time with failures.
He's just going to stay on the ground, and you'll hear him start to whimper and cry. Please. Please do it. I don't want to live like this. I'm not strong enough to do it myself. Please, Haruka. I'm sorry. Please. And he's begging you and trying to pass you the shotgun.
And he shakes his head. This is why it's called punishment. You'll either learn or you'll die this way. That's not up to me. That's up to you.
He'll just like reach into one of his pockets and pull out a like half bottle of vodka, take a swig, and just start crying. And yeah, do you want to leave him there?
He just shakes his head, see what he became, and there's not even enough anger. It's just more at this point disgust. At this point, that the brother that he knew went this low, and he's not even willing enough to live in his shame. It's like he just thinks of all the things that he's been taught by his father about being a Shadow Lord, and he's failing every single way. And even though he doesn't have a much as love for the Shadow Lords, he's always respected them. He'll just leave him where he's at, and when he returns to Thunderbolt, he'll just simply say, "From this moment, he's a lost cause, a worthless drunk."
Yeah. You see, more punishment than killing him. He has to live with himself. He is not good company.
He is not. He brings shame to Great Father Thunder.
Not anymore.
There's nothing else here.
Cool. Do you want to go back to the Sept?
Yes.
You get back to the Sept. What do you want to do?
When he arrives back to the Sept, he will more or less just kind of look around the Sept again, just kind of reintroduce himself. And he will look and see, notice of any certain looks that he didn't notice before. His brother felt that he was the favorite of the village, but he never felt that way. And he's more or less kind of taking stock of the village right now. That they're giving him the same dirty looks that he remembers, or they're giving him something else.
Um, you feel that they're not looking at you particularly nicely, but it's more suspicion. Again, similar to what you were having when you were in the Uktena place, you just get a feeling like these are people embattled. They don't trust outsiders. They're suspicious. But it's not necessarily because of who you are or what you are. You imagine that most of them don't know. And yeah, what do you want to do? You've been told that you're welcome to stay for a few days and for your father to come back from his war party.
He will do is look for his mate's family if they're still here.
Sure. Yeah, they are.
Um, when he arrives, I guess, at their particular cabbage or house, he will stop and kind of remember more or less the family itself, his mate, her mother, her father, and one of the few nice things he remembers living in the sept.
When they see you, they look kind of surprised more than anything, and a little bit wary, like kinfolk usually are about Garu. And the father will come out. Avika, why are you here? But you must come in. Have a drink.
And he will nod, and he'll have a small smile on his face. And when he gets inside, he kind of looks around and sees if they still keep things to remember Jaina in the house.
Yeah, um, you see some photos of her with the family and stuff like that. It's not a very fancy house, but it's homely. We did not know you would come back. We thought you had gone back to America.
I wanted to visit my father, but I've been told he's fighting leeches at the moment.
Yes, from what I understand. My eldest son, Janus, her name is Jaina, sorry.
Yeah, Jaina.
Yeah. Janus' older brother. He goes with the Garo to fight. He's a good fighter. Not Garo, but the Liches have many blood slaves.
And he nods as he remembers her older brother. They were distant, but there was never any bad blood between them.
How are you going to see her?
And he looks surprised when he brings that up.
Oh, you were sent away so fast. You do not know.
He came back.
Came back. How you mean?
And then he looks even more surprised because he says to see her. And then he kind of gets a moment of realization on his face. She didn't make it.
Didn't make what?
Jaina, I, we never found her.
No. We hit her. Your brother was crazy. We don't want him to find her, but you think she's dead?
And again, he looks really confused. I
She
I looked for her. We never found her. And
No, we hit her. We're not supposed to tell anybody. She's in Bucharest studying to be doctor.
there is just a blank, flabbergasted look on his face.
Your brother is a bad man. She tells me what happens. I want to shoot him, but his your stepmother, she's a big lady, and he's Garo. So she lives. Go to Bucharest. We not tell anybody. The Alpha know. This is all. If you want, you can stay here till your father comes back. I tell her to come visit you. She comes from Bucharest. It's no problem.
And he's lost for words right now, and he takes notice as he feels something wet hit his wrist as he knows that he's crying.
Oh, when she comes back, you must not cry. You have to be a big, tough man for her, yes?
It's just silence at this point as he's letting this sink in.
Okay, no talking. But you must. I will go get my wife. We will have food. You will stay here, okay?
He nods, still quiet.
During the evening, you talk about various things, and in conversation, it is brought up about your brother. I know you take his eye. He's good. He's angry though. He's just scared of the boy.
He's more than that right now.
Yes.
You told me that the village cared for me. I never noticed that. It was always just you.
You don't think they like you?
They never gave me a reason to.
You are. What's your father's name again? Sorry, I keep
Uh,
forgetting.
Tobias.
You're son of Tobias. No big scary man. Born to be Garu. Most likely. Most likely they not want to cause trouble to you, you know? Difficult for kinfolk. But your brother, some of us, we take him food sometimes. We're not supposed to, but he drinks too much, not clean. We see he eats rats. It is even for what he tried to do to my daughter. I feel pity for him.
He is pitiful.
Yes. But he hates us, we give him pity.
Well, if he wants not to get handouts maybe he should properly act himself.
Maybe.
You give him too much mercy.
I'm not Shadow Lord, but I know Gaia. Sometimes mercy is good. Sometimes you give mercy not because somebody deserves it, but because it is good for you and will poke you in the chest. Makes you a better person.
He he'll say, that's what they say. And he kind of looks away for a moment. His encounter with his brother, there is, from his statement, there is no, I guess, sense of wisdom and clarity. It's more just more anger, more anger and irritation at this point. It's not even the fact that he wasn't gotten a stricter punishment. It's the fact that he's not willing to take his punishment. He's let himself start eating rats and getting drunk.
The way he acts, not anybody's responsibility but his own. But the way we act is our responsibility.
And he'll nod to that.
My wife, she says to me when I am angry, he is a bad man. He is selfish child. But she says, if you hate him, then why do you give him rent for free? I say, what do you mean? And she says, he is living right here. And he taps his head. She says, you must forget him. Forgive. And now, I don't think about him at all. I leave him there. He does not live here for rent.
He nods to the statement.
But I'm tired. I must go to sleep. My wife, Shirin Jaina, she will come in 2 days. But you're welcome to stay. Until then.
Thank you.
And yeah, over the next few days, the villagers, a lot of them treat you warily. Uh, some of them kind of look at you a bit strangely because you're not from here. No one treats you with like open hostility. A lot of the Garu again seem like you're a cub. You're kind of vaguely interesting, and they'll ask you stories, but they don't pay you too much attention. Like they have duties and jobs to do. Um, and yeah, is there anything you would like to do?
While he is here and staying with Jaina's family, he will go back to a particular shop that he remembers Jaina going very often for because she did jewelry work in her own time outside of more house duties. She did, and see if that particular shop still sells knickknacks and raw materials.
Mhm.
So as he moves to the village to get to that particular shop, again he will take in the sept and more or less kind of realize maybe at the time he was feeling short-sighted, being forced to go here. It may be similar to the Utina Sept, like with many other Septs, they're just living their lives. So, unfortunately, afraid due to just being a Garu in general, being part of the nation, knowing that there's more enemies than friends.
Cool. Do you just want to wait here, or do you want to do anything particular?
Uh, Outside of checking just spots that him and Jaina used to hang out at,
Mm-hmm.
uh, he will might ask a few questions just of the how the Sept has been doing since he's been gone. If there's any, excuse me, unusual occurrences or maybe alliances that they've been having of recent.
Sorry, alliances.
Yeah, if there's been any alliance.
He'll basically tell you it's kind of business as usual. Either. I think we have technical difficulties. Hey, you back?
Yes, I am.
Cool. Yeah, more or less they will say it's business as usual. Um, they had a really big victory around 6 months ago and destroyed an elder lich in his castle. And since then, they think the various other fiends have been vying for power in the kind of power vacuum. So they've been dealing with a lot more leech activity. Yeah, aside from that, they said there's not much going on.
He'll ask if there's been any disputes that haven't been dealt with yet around the Sept. Maybe he can help with.
They'll say not particularly. There's two kinfolk who um, are essentially arguing over like some petty kinfolk thing that you could become involved in if you like. But they will just say it's not your job, cub. Don't worry. Don't worry yourself about it.
It will soon be my duty, so there was no reason not to start now.
Okay. They'll happily have you along when they do it. The kind of philodoxing you see here tends to be pretty kind of like pretty swift and pretty like not really like taking things into account. Like if somebody seems to be even slightly in the wrong, they usually get like quite badly punished. But that's what you come to expect from the Shadow Lords. And yeah. So, is there nothing else you want to do aside from to wait for your lady love and your father to return?
Not unless there's anything the step asks. Okay? I doubt it at this
I
point.
would no. I would only the only thing I would care to point out is you haven't passed your test yet.
Well, no, I, I'm at least not that I can, none that I'm aware of. I would think, because
Nope.
I don't know how I would even know that I to finish the test. I guess.
Well, your task was to forgive your brother, and you haven't.
Well, at this point, I'm nothing. My brother, does that count?
Nope. Your task was to forgive him. And this will occur to you one evening. In fact, it will occur to you when the kinfolk was giving you a very convenient pep talk about forgiveness.
And his
But yeah,
mind kind of goes, "What's there is there. Forgive." It's just like at this point, as he said, he has exiled himself inside that force, and he's not willing to control, and he's not willing to take its punishment. There's nothing else in his mind. He's going. There's nothing else for me to do at this point. He may be my brother, but unless he finds a way to understand himself, which he's not necessarily against helping him with, but basically, I'm not gonna call to him. He's gonna have to take the big steps by himself.
okay, no worries. Within a few days, Jaina will turn up. She's more or less as you remember her. You saw her around a year ago, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, she looks a bit sheepish and shy. And you will have some nice family meals, and she will quickly warm to you again. Um, she will tell you that in a few months she graduates from her college degree, and she's been given a scholarship, and she can choose anywhere. She can choose lots of different places to go. One of the places she's been offered is University of Columbia in New York City.
He
She seems to be testing the waters, asking you whether you would like that.
he would be delighted. He is happy to see that she's well and alive and doing well for herself, and the fact that she seemed to moved on better upon what happened than he did.
She doesn't seem to like talking about what happened. She when if you bring it up, she says she just wants to put it behind her and not think about that.
And
Yeah.
he
Sorry, go on.
nods that.
Also, within a within a day of that happening, your father will return. He walks on Sept, boisterous warrior he is, and you hear him shouting, "Harvagod is here. Where is he?" And yeah, he basically will find you. He's extraordinarily surprised you're here. He'll ask you why.
He'll simply say, "I'm here to see you."
So they give you holidays in New York. Lucky. Well, how long can you stay?
I think I stay maybe another day longer, but I wanted to make sure I saw you. It's good to see you, Father.
You also. And he ruffles your hair. Good to see my son. My only son. And yeah, you can essentially, there will be kind of like a small moot throne party that you'll hear for him. And yeah, you'll have a jolly nice time if you would like.
He will enjoy it for a bit, but he will ask for a moment or a time with his father to speak to him.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So,
What is it, son? You cannot just have come back to see me. Must be something else, I think. Came to see the girl also, no?
yes, I am elated that she's okay. I assume that she might have died, to be honest. No one told me that she was hidden. You didn't tell me that either.
No. I didn't want to worry you. I did not think you'd come back here.
I continued to look for her even when I was banished to the Americas.
You look for her in America?
And he uh, he looks a little sheepish on the thought, because yes, it does sound crazy, but he'll nod. The world is a crazy place. I was desperate.
It is good. I understand. Well, tell me, how is your training going?
And a Shadow Lord was my den father.
Good.
So the training wasn't anything too different from here. Though
This is good.
I met many others. There was a Silver Fang that he was very talkative.
Yeah, they like to talk. They like to hear the sound of their own voices.
But he was at least passionate. Some Striders seemed to be there as well, which I was extremely surprised at. I thought they were too busy moving around the world to stick to a sept.
We don't know much about the tribe of Owl. Like you say, they travel a lot. There are some down in the valleys with the Romani communities, but. And he just shrugs.
And being I guess in a proper city was enlightening at least. But there's no place that I truly have a heart there. There's too much ignorance, too much corruption there.
Well, if you want to join the tribe of Grandfather Thunder and follow in your dad's footsteps, I'm sure you will be welcome. You can come back here. Spend your time killing bloodsuckers with me.
I hear there's a decent amount in the Americas as well.
Yes, we see the films, but they are sparkling. Not like the Simeskis.
So, what are we going to do about Caleb?
Who?
Our pathetic exile at the moment.
There's nothing to do. Not my responsibility anymore.
He rots in that forest, Father.
His choice, not my son.
It is his choice, but he's making us look pathetic.
No, he's not my son. He's not of tribe of Grandfather Thunder. He is not your brother. If he offends you so much, ask the Alpha. Maybe you can kill him.
He's not even worth killing at this point. He's not even worth taunting. That's what makes this even worse.
You want to see him?
Yeah, I did.
There is nothing to do for him. Leave him. Forget him. Who cares? I have great shame in my heart, but I know I have one more son. One who does not bring me shame.
As I do appreciate hearing that from you, Father. I do believe that we know a thing or two about not wasting things. I'm not saying to do it now or do it soon. I'm saying in time. If he does not end up killing himself, we should try to give him a opportunity. And he puts an emphasis on a.
He can make his own opportunity. Not my problem.
He is too
Like I say,
pathetic to help himself now, Father. We have to give him something.
we don't have to do anything, Havuka. You are here. I am happy. I do not wish to talk about this anymore. Understand?
No,
If you
I
wish
do.
to go see him, help him, good luck. But don't drag yourself down to his level.
No, I won't. Maybe I should think of this as an opportunity. We never had a good relationship. Maybe we can start something now. And if not, he'll simply rot in that forest and we'll have nothing else to do with him.
He shrugs. Like I say, not my problem. And oh, sorry. Do you want to do anything else?
After that conversation, he'll return to the party. And
Cool.
with Jaina, and really with that conversation, allowing himself to, in a way, feel again. He'll, he will enjoy himself with Jaina and everyone within the village at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And really allow himself to be affected by the drink and just the atmosphere. And do something he hasn't done in a while, more definitely in the public, and dance with the music and dance with the people around.
They seem to, yeah, it's a nice party. And yeah, people seem to be enjoying themselves. You wake up the next day with a bit of a hangover.
And when he awakens, he won't kind of shake his head and hold a little bit from the pain of the overconsumption and will look in the distance where the direction of his brother is. And an irritation and almost and a weird compulsion, he'll spit to the ground. But it will change into lupus and begin going to that direction.
Mm-hmm.
And he will return to the forest where his brother resides.
Cool. You go in the same way. And yeah, as you get to the clearing where his little hut is, you see that he is like kind of leaning against the house, asleep. You see a bottle of vodka next to him. And he appears to be like in a drunken stupor.
He'll grab a stray bottle and not throw it enough to break it or anything, but throw it at him to get his attention.
He sits up and looks. Yeah, he sits up and looks kind of like around in shock, and sees you. He kind of like sneers and then groggily stands up, and he actually vomits. Before you see, he shifts into Glabro. You assume to get rid of the hangover. What do you want, Havuka? I told you, fuck off.
Yeah, I believe you did. But that's too bad. I don't have to listen to you. And he looks around. Is there like a river nearby or any bodies of water?
Yeah, there can be a small stream.
And he will do something that he typically doesn't like to do, and he will shift to Krynos and walk over to him.
Finally got the balls to do it, eh?
I got the balls to do something, brother. And he will grab him and he will throw him into the river.
Yeah, he is an Arun and he's a bit bigger than you, but he's also drunk and yeah, he's kind of taken by surprise and yeah, he gets thrown into the river. And he'll actually come out in Krynos form. I told you to fuck off and leave me alone.
Oh, you got a spine now, eh? That's different from yesterday.
Well, what are you gonna do then?
At this point, I'm going to probably mess with you until I feel better. So hopefully, you'll learn what it means to be an Arun, what it means to be a Shadow Lord. It'll make my job that much easier.
Just come here to torment me. Thought it was a noble Havaka. And he'll just push past you and walk towards his cabin.
He'll grab him again and try to throw him into the river again.
This time he's gonna he's basically just gonna kind of like dodge away. Don't fucking touch me, Havaka.
I think I have every right to touch you as much as I want.
I'm warning you. Leave me alone.
I was like, I believe you made the first move last time. I think it's my turn.
He's just gonna snort and again just go back to his place. If you try and grab him, unless you want to initiate combat, you're not
Oh yeah,
just going
no,
to
no,
grab him.
he's going to grab him again.
Okay. What's your just so I can know, because then I could maybe streamline. What's your aim here?
Oh, my aim here is to see how he responds being tormented by me, more or less. And I want to see his responses are. Like, is he just kind of simply going to attack me in a rage, stupor, patheticness? Is he kind of come at me with a sense of pride? Is he going to come at me just blind rage and anger? He's more or less trying to see his reaction.
Sure. I mean, you can try and grapple him again, and I will just find out what the moon phase is.
Yes, that would be good to know.
It is Crescent, so the difficulty will be 7, but he's Krenos. So, diff 6. Frenzy roll. He does not frenzy.
And should I make the roll or just keep going with the RP?
I mean, if you want to attack him, then I guess I don't really want to get bogged down with like a heap of dice roll.
We could just RP this out. That's perfectly fine.
But if you want to attack him, he'll like fight back.
No, yeah, I'm trying to see if he's willing to fight back.
Yeah, he will like a little bit, but like in a defensive way. He basically just wants you to get off him. And I guess if you'll keep doing it, I'll just make one more frenzy roll.
Yeah, when he responds and fighting me off, he'll say, "It's like yesterday you wanted me to kill you. What changed?"
He'll just keep saying, fuck off and leave me alone, Havika. Fuck off and leave me alone. I don't want to be tormented by you.
And he'll just respond again, like, that's too bad. It's like, eventually you gotta have to learn. And he'll state, more or less, like, you think all those other women liked what you did to them? You think they don't live with what you did?
Are you trying to make him frenzy?
No, no. If I have to make him friends, then I will, because I want to
Okay.
make a point that he's just being, more or less, he's being, as I said, sorry, you're being pathetic. You're not, like, you can't deal with being exiled. And
Yeah, I mean, if you're taunting him, I can roll his frenzy dice as many times as you want me to. He doesn't the third time though either.
and he'll state again is like, so you're just gonna sit here and let yourself rot and die in this forest, like not living up to anything, letting what you've accomplished just go to waste.
What I've accomplished? I haven't accomplished anything.
Well, obviously you did, or you wouldn't be feeling sorry for yourself.
Well, if by my accomplishments you mean I was born Garu.
So I believe you earned the right to clear before I did.
I did. Not that that matters for anything anymore.
Well, obviously you lost it. I believe I already stated that earlier.
Look, Havika, have you got a point of being here, or are you just here to piss me off?
Yeah, I have a point of being here. Obviously, nobody cares. Dad doesn't even consider you a son anymore. But I am surprised. He says, people are still feeding you. People still come up to check on you.
Yeah, because they pity me.
Because you're pitiful. Maybe you should give them a reason not to be.
I don't want your fucking pep talk. Go away.
I'm giving you an opportunity, Caleb.
I don't want your opportunity.
I believe you should try at least try.
I don't care what you believe.
So you just gonna sit here and rot, brother? You're just
I
gonna
don't.
keep whining to yourself every night that what you lost.
Why do you care?
Why do I care? Because for years you tormented me, and the time that I can get some payback, you give me nothing. You you're like you get exiled from the village despite me getting banished first. I learned that my love is still alive. She'd end up killing herself or being caught off by bandits.
He rolls his eyes at that.
I would think at least you would have still some type of arrogance towards me from what you did to me, but you have nothing. So the stronger older brother that I always knew reduced himself to a drunk, whiny bitch, and I expected more out of him.
I don't know why you're here. Just to point out the obvious, or what?
I was hoping the obvious might jar something in your soul, but there seems to be nothing left. I'm here to say that there's nothing more between us anymore. Not unless you clean up your act.
Great. You came back here to tell me that there wasn't anything between us. I didn't think there was anyway, so nothing's changed.
There was something before, but there's nothing now. The fact that you don't see it is on you. But I'm here to say that what you did to me, what you did to Jaina, it won't have power over me.
He just looks at you like, okay.
And when he looks at him, not understanding, I guess, the gravity of that statement, he just shakes his head. There really is nothing left of you, Caleb. And he actually has a sad look on his Krynos face, like the realization that he's really this low, and at this point, like there's nothing more he can do for him. He's not gonna go out on a limb for him like this. There's no reason to. No one cares. He's not choosing to care for himself. There's nothing left. And he'll just simply state, I hope one day that you get better.
He's walking back into his cabin.
And when he walks in, he'll relax down to Hamid. And he's just more or less just going in his mind like, this is it. And especially with yesterday, kind of letting himself go at the party and seeing continue the whimpering of his brother. The rage in him is more or less just a burning embers, becoming just simply ash. He's not the brother that he hated anymore. He's not even the brother that he slightly respected. So if he's only willing to basically protect himself out of self-preservation, and he has nothing to work for, there's nothing more he can do for him. The village doesn't care, nor does his father. So there's nothing left for him to care about him. And he will leave the forest.
Okay. Unless there is anything pertinent to your challenge you want to do, I think we can call that scene. You can enjoy your time with the or rather you can go back to America. You can enjoy your last few minutes here, reestablish some contact, and then you'll be made a moon bridge to go back to the US.
And he will kiss Jaina goodbye and again just enjoy the moments that he had with her.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll say he hopes to see her in the Americas, and if he does, he'll make sure to find her.
She seems happy about this, and yeah, you can go back. This time, you will be taken into the Umbra, and a more traditional moon bridge will be made, and you'll be asked where you want to go.
I would want to return to the Florida Sept and speak to Owie with Sun Color, right?
Uh, Son, daughter.
Sun
Yeah.
Daughter, sorry.
Yeah, sure. That will happen for you. You will go along a more traditional moon bridge, walking across the vistas of the Umbra, and you will arrive there.
I have returned.
Upon seeing you, uh, Son, daughter will say, You have. You've been gone many days.
And he nods to that. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I've learned much. I am here to speak to Actina to see if I have gained what if I can if I pass my test.
Did you forgive your brother?
And he thinks upon that, and he will say, "In a way, yes. My
She
brother, unfortunately, has lost his way. I gave him an opportunity, and at the moment he's too hurt, he's too wounded.
she
I don't.
squints at you slightly, but she will take you to the heart of the cairn. And she will do the same introduction to Octena, but he does not appear. And she looks at you. Did you forgive him or not?
And then he looks a little confused. Yes.
So, out of character, no, you didn't.
Hmm.
When did you forgive him?
I guess that depends. When I last stayed with him, I guess one was saying that he has no control over me. I felt that was the statement there.
That, that that's not forgiving somebody. You need to tell somebody you've forgiven them to forgive them. That was your task.
That is true. And I never did say those words exactly because he was going around those. So really,
Uh,
no, he
uh,
didn't.
I mean, also, like, telling somebody you have no control of them isn't like kind of hinting at anything, really. It's not. That's. It's not forgiveness. Like, yeah.
No, it isn't. I get your point. And he kind of more or less go into that realization of that. He again he bites his lip. I guess there's still much for me to learn.
She looks at you and says, "I think you should leave."
And he nods, and he does.
As you leave, Aput will be waiting for you in like the little town. You'll be taken through the bayous again. No one will speak to you. You'll be taken through the bayous, and you will be taken out to Aput, and he'll say, "How did it go?"
I need more time.
Okay. Well, are we going back to New York or what?
And we'll stay here for a few more days, then I will go back to speak to them. But for now, I need to meditate on things.
Okay. Um. Yeah. Aput looks kind of a bit weirded out. Like he's not really sure what to do, but he'll stay here if you want to. Do you want to call that scene?
Yeah, we can call that scene.
Okay, cool. Thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watch, for watching. We'll see you next time. You have the button.
Oh, yes, I do.
Sorry.